Captain Charles Edward Nicholson of the New South Wales Lancers traces the advance from Kroonstad to the Battle of Johannesburg in this extract from a letter written from Cormet's Drift on the 19th of June 1900 to his parents in West Maitland, New South Wales. Quote, I wrote you from Kroonstad describing the fight at the Zant River. After that we started our march to Johannesburg, having a bit of a skirmish on the way. When we arrived within 15 miles of Johannesburg, it became evident that the Boers had determined to make a stand and were in a good position to do so. About 5 in the evening of May the 27th, 2 or 3 shells were landed among the horses, killing 2. We pushed on, and unfortunately my old horse fell into a large hole covered with grass. He was right across my leg. When the men came to my assistance, he fell back on me, his own back being hurt. I was very much bruised, but managed to limp along until camp was reached. Next morning we continued our march and came to an open flat with a complete ridge of hills in front and on 2 sides. The cavalry was ordered to the front about 1.5 miles in advance of the guns to locate the enemy if possible. The Boers opened up with rifle fire from behind rocks and cover on the 2 sides of the hills, followed by shell fire from the front and both sides. We retired then to escort our guns into action, but soon found we could not reach the guns of the Boers, which were placed over the skyline and were most difficult to locate. We'd returned fire and continued to advance, the shells of the enemy falling between the horses, which were in extended order. I received orders to go to the right front with my men and find out whether the Boers were in a dip in the ground covered with low bush. When within a few hundred yards of the place, the bullets came so thick and fast amongst us that we were compelled to seek cover where some of the stones were observed on our left. We rode there and dismounted as the Boers were fast closing in on our left flank. We volley fired fast and furious to check them from advancing and held the position until I observed the guns retiring and the Boers' guns turned in our direction. 2 shells struck the rocks just below us. We then retired at a slow trot after our guns. As we came up, one of the gunners spoke to me of the severe shelling. Next instant he was struck, his heart and lungs torn out. Close to us, 2 of the Scots Greys and their horses were also killed. Another shell tore a man's thigh open and another shot away a man's jaw and all his lower teeth. We were under this for 7.5 hours until darkness set in. Our losses were small owing to the ground being soft and the shells sinking into it before exploding. I was rendered quite deaf and blind by the bursting of a shell quite close to me for several seconds. The dirt and firestone covered up my helmet and face. One of my men remarked, "It could not have been any closer, sir." The squadron was specially mentioned for the work done. I was complimented by the major of the regiment upon the work of the men with me. Next day the 1st Cavalry Brigade was ordered to carry out a flank movement, and off we went at 5 o'clock in the morning, fighting our way round the back of Johannesburg and forcing the Boers to retreat over the very spot where Jamison was compelled to surrender. Morris and I were sent to the front with 25 men to turn the Boers out of a nasty place, and we met with a warm reception. Staff Sergeant Edward Morris, New South Wales Lancers. The explosive bullets cracked in the air like stock whips. Nearly 200 left cover, thinking, no doubt, that a strong force would soon be up. On we went to the place where we had to reach, camping at 8 o'clock at night. 2 days' rest, then a start made for Pretoria, and another flank movement to be carried out. Right. After having a reasonably good sleep at the budget motel, it was quite a hot night. I slept on top of the sheets for a lot of it. I don't know why it wasn't that hot outside when I came in, but the motel room was hot, but that was okay. So it's early morning, it's about 7:30 now, and there should be a Boer War monument on this corner, which is Roberts Avenue. I wonder if that's Lord Roberts. There's also the old police station here. You wouldn't think that's the current. Of more importance is this RSL club.
Well, actually, is it the RSL Club or is this the new police station? And we're moving away from the corner. Okay. Oh, this is the courthouse. And there's the new police station there. Right. Well, this isn't an obvious monument because I walked around this corner last night when I was waiting for my pizza from Bonnie and Clyde, which, by the way, was one of the best pizzas I've had for a long time. The old Bonnie and Clyde came through with the goods when it came to pizza. So I don't really know what we would be looking for. There's the public toilets here. Yeah. What I might have to do is get onto the monument's website, see what it looks like so we have an idea how to find it. It says corner of Roberts and Fire Brace. Bloody hell. And this is the corner. But we'll go to the other corner and look. Roberts. Okay. I had intended on having Chinese last night, but having got to the palace, which was rated the best Chinese in Horsham, and it looked pretty dodgy to me. It looked kind of, from the outside, it didn't look much at all. I thought, oh well, I'll give it a go. Boy, was I wrong. There were people queued up from outside to get into the palace. When I looked around their tables, everyone was booked, and there was about 10 people waiting for takeaway. So I realised I wasn't going to get no Chinese. So as I said, I went to Bonnie and Clyde for their pizza, which was the original idea, that I would have pizza in Horsham. Now I went for, the pizzas were named after Bonnie and Clyde themes, I suppose. So the hot one, like the Mexican, that's interesting. Field Marshal 1901. I don't know what that means. We might cruise down a little bit. Yeah, so my pizza, Bonnie and Clyde themed, with a bit of spice in it, was called the Exit Wound. Yep. As I said, it was pretty good. Let me put it this way, far better than any pizza I had in South Africa. Far better. The other half was your pizza with a lot. Now he did ask me, are you okay with anchovies? I said, yeah, I am. Wow. They were generous with the anchovies too. I love those little buggers. Well, look, I can see a park up the corner there. We might go up there and see if we can find this monument. So stay tuned. Stop recording. Here I am today. Taken off the pink singlet a little bit crisp in Horsham this morning. So we have an idea now what the monument is. It's not a upstanding monument like the other ones we've seen. This is just a white marble plaque, and as I surmised, Roberts Avenue is named after Lord Roberts. So enough of me. We need to find the old council office. What would it look like? Well, it would look like this old police station. And that's the new council office there. Unless this looks brand new, this law court. Unless there's knocked down the... Oh look, this is where the buses come. When you get a bus to Ballarat from Horsham to Ballarat, get on that V-line bus. Police might tell me. They would know. Original. But this place looks brand new. I wonder if they didn't knock down the old council office to build this, because they got a new council office. But this the old red brick building. You know, I do enjoy a long distance bus trip. I do. I don't really have anywhere to go on the long distance bus, but just thinking yesterday when I used to went over to see Robbie a couple of times in Mount Gambier. I got the bus to Hamilton at least once, thinking that would make it easy for her to pick me up. It was 180 kilometres from Gambier to Hamilton. It wasn't really easy. Old police station tenants. So what we're looking for, it's just a white marble square which commemorates the victory of the Australians and British in 1900. Yeah. This has always been the police station. So I'll go and ask the men in blue if they know what I'm babbling about. Okay. This is the council office now, obviously. All nice and new and spliffy with smoked glass. And in these days, it wouldn't be real fashionable to have a marble plaque at the front to commemorate some forgotten war. So anyway, I went into the police station, very young constable, young whippersnipper. Probably had a gun longer than he's had a razor. Yeah, he had no idea. But that's fair enough. I said to him, the original council office was probably demolished way before you were around. And really, this isn't Firebrace. This is a different street. Firebrace is down that corner. I might go back to that corner. I know what I'm looking for now. I'm not looking for a upright monument. I'm just looking for a white marble square. I don't know what they would have done with it. You know, these things get sort of put aside and lost. They don't seem relevant anymore. an old white marble plaque remembering some long forgotten war, which wars are not fashionable. This is the back of the council offices, and this is McLaughlin Street now. The Civic Centre might tell us when it opened. Okay, well, we found it. Just had to look up. Here we are there. The lettering is raised a little bit, like it may not last. Actually, it's not. Some of the lettering's falling off. So it says Roberts Avenue, as I surmised, named after Lord Roberts, planted by the citizens of Horsham to commemorate the success of the British and Australian troops in the South African War. December 1901, Roberts had marched into Pretoria and Bloemfontein. There was no stopping the juggernaut. That was Lord Roberts. That's so we found it.
Following is from the monument's website. So Roberts Avenue was named after Lord Roberts, and the avenue of trees was planted by the citizens of Horsham in December 1901 to commemorate the success of the British and Australian troops in the South African Boer War. The plaque relating to the dedication is located on the old Shire offices. Lord Roberts led the British forces to success in the Boer War. It was originally planted with 80 English oak trees along Roberts Avenue between Darlot and McPherson Streets. The avenue was officially opened and the plaque unveiled on the 19th of February 1902. Note: there is some discrepancy as to how many of the original trees remain. The TreeNet Avenues on a survey in 2004 stated that 5 trees were remaining. The Victorian War Heritage Inventory reports that as of 2011, only the section between Urquhart and McPherson Streets remain. The Horsham Public Art and CBD Heritage Trail states that the remaining elm, which is located at the corner of Roberts Avenue and Ward Street, was planted to commemorate Field Marshal Lord Roberts. This is from the Horsham Times of the 30th of April 1901. Mr. Pearce said that the name required for the avenue was one which would be commemorative of the whole series of events which had taken place lately in South Africa. If Mafeking was the name given, what about Ladysmith? If Ladysmith, what about Mafeking? Both these names would be lost in the course of time. But there was one name which would be handed down to posterity as luminous forever, that of the man who had done the best of the work in South Africa, Roberts. Cheers! Woohoo! He moved that Roberts Avenue be the name given, subject to the approval of the Borough Council. The President seconded the motion, agreeing with Mr. Pearce that the name of Lord Roberts would be evergreen in the memory of British subjects, whilst Mafeking and Ladysmith were but additions to the glorious triumphs of British valour. Mr. Miller supported the motion, which was carried by acclamation. And this is from the Horsham Times of the 21st of February 1902. The ceremonies of opening the handsome fountain erected at the intersection of Firebrace and Wilson Streets and presented to the town by Mr. James Millard, JP, a councillor of the Horsham Borough and chairman of the Horsham Borough Waterworks Trust, and of formally naming Roberts Avenue, planted in commemoration of the achievements of British and Australian troops in South Africa, were performed on Wednesday evening in the presence of a large, interested and enthusiastic crowd of townspeople and district residents. After the fountain was unveiled, the Deputy Mayor, having intimated that this closed the first function, an adjournment was made to Roberts Avenue, the band playing the crowd up Firebrace Street. The Shire Hall into the Splat Street or Roberts Avenue wall, of which a commemorative marble tablet that was veiled with a Union Jack has been built, having been reached, Mr. W.B. Pater, President of the Horsham Progress Association, to the existence and exertions of which the planting of the avenue is due, expressed his gratitude at the size of the gathering. The Progress Association existence had been in 12 months and had already done excellent work. Hear, hear. It had completed the planting of 3 avenues of trees, and if the generous support that has so far been accorded by townspeople were continued, it would in the coming season plant a 4th. Woohoo! The object of the association was to beautify the town, and in the carrying out of what it should be supported by every householder. Here. The work that the association was doing would, as it was carried out, relieve the town of the strictures passed upon it by a visitor in a recent letter to the Horsham Times, the sting of which were in their absolute truth. The avenue they were opening that evening had been planted especially to commemorate the success of the British and colonial troops in South Africa. Woohoo! They all knew what had been the nature of the South African War, and how splendidly the brave fellows who had gone from Australia had acquitted themselves in it, winning laurels in the field, as they had won them in every other sphere of action in which they had competed. Woo! The tablet did not claim to be a handsome ornament. It was rather a plain piece of marble, setting out the name of the avenue and the purpose with which it had been planted. Here I am. Fantastic, eh? It's a bit tricky to find that one. Let's go back and tell the young constable. Alright, so we found the, this must be the old council office. Right, I overthought it. Oh, brilliant, I'm happy about that, but they're going to need to fix the lettering because it's raising there, it's good. These don't look like the original letters, these plastic. But then the ones here are raising up. Anyway, that's not my business. Okay. I thought I'd just show you guys the cheapest motel in Horsham. I'm actually really impressed, you know. I thought, what the hell have I done? It could be bikies and prostitutes using it as a working base. It doesn't appear that way yet, but it's still early in the evening. It's about 6:30 at night, or 6 at night. It's actually a swimming pool there. I'm feeling crazy enough to get in there. I figure I enjoyed those swimming pools so much in South Africa. Why not continue the pleasure of a swimming pool when it's available to me? So, yeah, that's really good. What else have we got? I bring this stuff in. A continuation of my episode. Swimming pools at places I stay. The poor old Darlot Inn in Horsham has seen better days, you could say that. It's all run down and abandoned, but there is a pool here of an interesting magnitude. It has no shallow end. Okay, you go straight in the deep end and stay there. So this will be fun, because I don't like going straight in. I like to gradually immerse myself. I'm a bit of a wuss that way. So we'll get down. Alright. Probably insane. Actually not that deep, it just looks deep.